Long shorts, hostage negotiation. This video performed pretty well, and a lot of people said they learned from it. Talking to people in public can be difficult.
Being a woman and existing in public does not mean that we owe you.
I was asked to chime in here, and as usual, I'm happy to. First of all, this young lady tells no lies. If you listen to every word of this as a man, your life will actually get better. First, I want to point out that these are my kind of red flags. This says come here, and this says go away, and that would be confusing if you lacked insight. She's talking about being hit on in public, and she starts with a classic meme. She points out that she has no choice but to be here. That is key number one. Distinguish optional social spaces from spaces of necessity. This is an illustration of boundaries, which I'm going to get into very deeply at some point. This was a public space, a bar, and he approached her. She said no, and then he continued. This is fine, this is fine, this is a boundary violation. This is acceptable because she deliberately entered a public social space. You go there to meet people. And then he tried to meet her. She said no. She established a boundary, and he continued. That was wrong. On the subway, she's not there to scope out local hunks. She's there because she has to be. She says, I'm not flirting with you. I'm checking you for weapons. And that's key number two. Distinguish clear invitations from your fantasy. In public spaces of necessity, there is a pre-existing boundary. She doesn't have to give you one because she did not come here to socialize. And because men are the pursuers, it is the woman's job to break that boundary. Back in Victorian times, they would drop a handkerchief and they wouldn't be able to pick it up because of these ridiculous hoop dresses. That's feigned helplessness. Oh my, I can't do this without you because you're above a 7. So if you don't get a clear signal, assume a boundary. And I know that's frustrating, but you have to understand it from their perspective. Every time a strange man approaches a woman unsolicited in a non-social public space, a hostage negotiation is about to occur. That's key number 3. Women feign interest for their personal safety. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to hurt anyone. And the chances of that are really small. But if she takes that chance every time, it will turn bad eventually. She explains this too. She says, worst case scenario, I become a statistic. And best case scenario, you are the equivalent of a dry water slide, which I'm assuming is no fun. You have to remember, this is how women see men they don't know. They don't like most of us. If you're not up here, and you would know it because this would be happening, then you just look like this to her. Hi, pay attention to me now. I want to touch your boobs. This is not fair, but it's also not their fault. This is how they feel about most of us. They are born that way. So if you are not up here, which you would know because this would be happening, then approaching strange women is usually just making them deal with this. I'm not saying that you're just here forever. Women like men more when they get to know you, but that doesn't happen by just saying, get to know me. You have to offer them something that makes them do this. Work on these, especially this, and wait for feedback, and don't count on these. Sometimes they feel like they have to. Wait for clear feedback like, come here and help me with something stupidly easy. So again, all this black pointy shit and the insanity scribbles, that's how sick women are of please like me now. You have to offer them something and wait for a sign.